Episode 12, Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. I'm Gary Ray. We got a ton of stuff from the past week in sports. College football playoffs. Bama knocks off Oklahoma in Oklahoma. The Hurricanes take down the Aggies in College Station. Should Tulane and James Madison even have been in this? The NFL, the Bills hang on to beat the Browns 23-20. The playoff situations. The Warriors are stumbling into the holidays with losses in 4 of their last 5. The Lincolns are rolling. And the Leafs, they need to hit the reset button as they're driving a bus right off a cliff. All of that and more on the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast.
6 guys, 3 sports. No leash. This is the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. Football, hockey, and baseball the way it's meant to be. Loud, raw, and completely unfiltered.
Yes, Guy. We've got Ian Shank and Brian Hawley in the house. How are you tonight, gentlemen?
Real good. Absolutely. Yeah. Great time. Merry Christmas to everyone out there. We're looking forward to a couple more days with the grandbabies. Things are good, man. Life's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Things are going.
Shanker, you're on the mend. Feeling better this week, brother?
Yeah, it was the team flu went through my daughter's hockey team, and I got a bit of it, and we're back, though. And yeah, it was a good weekend watching a lot of good sports.
Yeah, such a good time of year. Like from October until now, and we've got the World Juniors coming up too to talk about and watch. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do something a little bit different with trending. We're going to throw college football in there. So we'll first hear from our sponsors at the Best Western Arden Park, and we'll get right to it.
This trending segment brought to you by Best Western Plus Arden Park Hotel, located at 552 Ontario Street, Stratford, located steps from the Festival Theatre, while offering first-class accommodations with an extensive range of services, including conference center, banquet facilities, and heated indoor pool.
Friday night, college football playoffs got going underway. Number 9, Alabama was at number 8, Oklahoma. Alabama, they were dead to the world there at the beginning. Oklahoma was up 17-0 in the second, and then Halser, what happened after that?
Well, Oklahoma stopped everything. They made mistakes. They turned the ball over. They missed tackles. They changed their philosophy. It's almost like they were running out the clock right away once they got up on offense. I thought they got really flaccid on offense, and of course they turned it over, and Alabama turned up the heat, and they couldn't handle it. And that's really it. Just momentum is a huge thing in the middle of any playoff game of any sport, and you got a real face full of it right there.
Shaker, were you able to watch any of that while feeling under the weather? What did you think of that game?
Well, I think when it was when they woke up a beast in Ty Simpson, like he just started, once they got down 17-0, he just started slinging it all over the field, and Oklahoma had no answer. It was like, wow, like what just happened here? Like I was like contemplating turning it off because I thought, oh, it's 17-0. We have a dull game here.
Yeah, a lot of us were thinking that.
Bama they flipped a switch and just steamrolled them.
Well, like you said, Oklahoma was up 17-0 in the second. Bama rattles off the next 27 points. Bama QB Ty Simpson, 18 of 29 for 232 yards, 2 tutties, no picks, and 152 rating versus Oklahoma. John Mateer, he just fell asleep, like you guys both said, after they went up 17-0. He ended up 26 of 41. 307 yards, 2 tutties, but he had a pick, and that was a costly pick. And he ended up with 137.5 rating. Alabama now goes to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena on New Year's Day to take on number 1 Indy. That's going to be very exciting to see that. So fasten your seatbelts for that on New Year's Day. The other game that we got to watch on Saturday, number 10 Miami. It was a bit of a yawner. They take down number 7 Texas A&M. It was a game of miscues, missed field goals, picks. We'll start with you this time, Schenker. What did you see in College Station with that game?
Well, the win was a factor. And Miami missing 3 field goals was almost their downfall. Like, their defense played great. They shut Reed down pretty much the whole game. They stopped the run. They got a pick when they needed to, but when they're kicked, they could have been up 9-0 at the half. And I thought, okay, they're up 3-0. Okay, whatever. They're still going to win. And they can't score. And that's not like Miami. And I got to give Texas A&M credit. Their defense was excellent for 3 quarters. Then they just fell apart. They let Beck get away in the 4th quarter and just started slinging it. And he only had 103 yards passing, but most of that was in the 4th quarter.
Halzer, what did you see of that? The wind was swirling at Kyle Field. You had 104,000 people, and this is right up your wheelhouse with a defensive battle. What did you think of that game?
Well, it was beautiful to watch. The wind just made it even better. You know, it's just almost like a snowstorm. The wind can be crazy. Anybody who's ever played golf will tell you that. And it clearly was in that kid's head. But you know what? The Aggies had a chance to tie that game up late. And that was the part that I was really confused about. Nobody talked about it on TV on the game. The fact that that kid ran it in for the touchdown, if he
Malachi
stops,
Tony.
Yeah, if he stops before he gets there, they're out of timeouts. But they were so concerned about the field goal kicker.
Yeah.
Because that's what you should do, right? You kneel down on the 2, you kneel down 3 times in a row and kick that 18-yard field goal for the win. But this guy had already missed 3. So you actually are so worried about your field goal kicker, you run the ball in and get the touchdown and then let your defense deal with it. And it's, you know, in fairness, they only had 3 points. It's fair to sit, you know, count on your defense to win the game for you. But they had that game won easy without all the drama at the end. All he had to do was kneel down at the 2. So that was the part that I was really shocked that nobody on TV was talking about. Maybe they were just so happy to see a touchdown. They just didn't think of anything else.
Well, I felt better for the Miami rookie freshman wide receiver, Malachi Tony. He redeemed himself from a previous fumble there with the winning TD with less than 2 minutes to go in the game. He was beside himself. I was watching the replays there on the sidelines, and his teammates never once wavered. They went over there. They consoled him. They told him, genuinely told him, don't worry about it. So it was nice to watch him do that. Miami quarterback Carson Beck, I didn't think, for all the money that he's getting, I didn't think he lived up to the hype.
No.
He was 14 of 20 for only 103 yards, 1 tutty, no picks, 128 rating. Texas A&M quarterback, he was another guy I was disappointed with. Marcel Reed, he was 25 of 39 for 237 yards, no tutties, 2 picks. That last pick in the end zone, all he's got to do is lead his receiver. He had Green. He had him open, but he didn't throw it in time. He didn't release it in time, and he threw it a bit behind him, and that allowed the Hurricanes to intercept him for the second time. That was Bryce Fitzgerald from the Hurricanes. He had 2 picks on Marcel Reed with that game-sealing one in the end zone with 25 seconds to go. But the other one that I thought was really interesting, Miami, Ruben Bain Jr., he had 3 sacks and 4 tackles for losses. But it was interesting because Aggie star offensive tackle Trey Zoom III made a mistake saying before the game, I don't think that Ruben Bain's going to be a threat that we need to worry about much. We have great players, a great offensive line, so we'll be able to handle him. Well, the Aggies didn't handle him. And Bain's comeback after the game was, don't write checks that you can't cash. So I thought that was really interesting, with the back.
Hey, Razor, Miami had 7 sacks in that game, plus a blocked field goal.
Yes.
So that defense was on par all game.
Yeah, their scheme was fantastic from the opening kickoff.
And I think they're going to give Ohio State some fits next week, or in a couple weeks, or next week, I guess.
Well, if their D plays like that, and you're going to have a 20-point game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that win, number 10 Miami goes to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas to play number 2 Ohio State on New Year's Eve at 7:30. The New Year's Day matchups at noon, you've got number 5 Oregon playing number 4 Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl in Miami. At 4 p.m., we got number 9 Bama playing number 1 Indiana, like we said before, in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And then the nightcap at 8 o'clock, we got number 6 Ole Miss versus number 3 Georgia at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Guys, what do you say about James Madison and Tulane? Like, it's embarrassing how both of them got blown out, and yet you've got Notre Dame sitting on the sidelines. I thought Nick Saban said it best. He said next year they should only have a team that is ranked in the top 15 allowed to play in the playoffs, even if you win a conference. What do you guys think about it?
Well,
go ahead, Shanker.
It's when they put James Madison into Tulane, I thought, I can vouch for Tulane because they actually played some of the top 12 teams this year. But when push comes to shove, like, I don't know if Ole Miss has a burr up their ass with Kiffin leaving and they're trying to prove a point, but this just proves that either Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, or Vanderbilt were all way better options than those two.
Absolutely.
Like this isn't basketball where you can have a Sun Belt team come into the final tournament and they might win a game or compete. Not in football. Like
Cinderella team, yeah.
It's apples to oranges in football. And they just made the committee look like total jackasses. Like, I watched maybe 2 quarters, like, no, we're not watching it. It made for some easy betting, though, on the weekend. But still, man, the committee has to be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Halzer, what do you think about the laughingstock, James Madison and Tulane being in it?
Well, it kind of reminded me of, those guys are the coach's kid that, he insists they play. As far as I'm concerned, James, I mean, the combined scores at halftime were 51-9. That is, that's not acceptable. You want to blow this up as a top 12, and yet you want to play the all-inclusive game. If I'm Notre Dame, I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to go to James Madison's conference and play there, and that way I'm going to go to the playoff every goddamn year. It doesn't matter how good I am.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'll get the money for all those big money games. I think it's a Sun Belt or whatever it is.
Sun Belt.
Make the Sun Belt pay you ungodly sums of money to raise up their profile by adding Notre Dame, and then you'll be going representing the Sun Belt every goddamn year, going to the college playoff. You won't have to worry about anybody else. It won't matter. You could play anybody you want. You're just going to beat the holy sweet Jesus hell out of the Sun Belt Conference and then go to the playoff, man. What are we talking about here? If it's going to be like that, that's what I'd do.
Yeah. So when you look at it, Tulane ranked number 20, played number 6 Ole Miss. They lose 41-10. And number 24, James Madison, loses to number 5 Oregon 51-34. Like, something's got to change. It'll be interesting.
And don't be fooled by the 34. That's junk time bullshit points.
Yeah.
That was Oregon. That was resting their starters. That was all garbage time with James Madison getting all those points. You're right. So, all right, boys, let's hear from our sponsors from End Zone and Fantasy, and let's come back with the Bills, Browns, and what's going on in the NFL.
End Zone and Fantasy, brought to you by TNT Security, Inc., where security meets reliability. Call Todd Schmidt today for a security quote on your concert, dance, sporting, and alcohol event, business, property, or mobile patrol security.
Bills outlast the Browns 23-20. Not Josh Allen's Superman encore from last week, but he was average. Allen was 12 of 19 for 130 yards. No tutties, no picks, 83.2 rating. It was James Cook that had another great game. He had his 9th 100-yard game. He's now leading the NFL in rushing. Now, as we say that, Jonathan Taylor hasn't played yet tonight against my Niners, so that could change. But as of right now, James Cook's leading the NFL rushing single season with 1,532 yards versus Taylor's 1,443 yards. But Cook had 16 carries for 117 yards, 2 tutties. The thing that really scared us, and we all talked about it on the group chat, was when Josh Allen had to go into the tent and he ended up getting x-rays on his foot. And Bills fans were holding their breath with that, Halser. What did you think?
Well, and that whole play was a shit show. I mean, he turned away from the loose defender and looked up.
Myles Garrett was after him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Garrett to begin with. He spun
No.
around and went the other way and got away from the pressure. And he looks up, and who does he see? It's Myles Garrett right in front of him. So he turns tail, and if you didn't see the play, it was like a peewee football kind of moment there where Josh got away from one guy and then thought he was out of it and then ran into the best defensive end in the league and then barely kept the ball out of the end zone for a safe. So that was, and then gets up lame after that. And you're just going, oh, for Christ's sakes, it'd be such a Bills thing to have happen, when you're just, anyways, he's all right as always. And, he always jokes about it. I mean, the dude gets hurt. He's a machine. What can I tell you?
What did he say? They asked him about pain, and he said, "I love the feeling of pain. It reminds me that I'm alive.
Let you know you're alive." Yep.
Yeah, he's just a machine. But Schenker, what did you think when you were watching that game? What were your thoughts?
Well, I thought the Bills, after they played such a good first half, I thought, all right, they're going to blow them out here. And then they just, I don't know if they just fell asleep in the second half, but they just let Cleveland slowly climb back into the game. It's like, come on, stop the run. But that's been their problem, right? I don't know if the Bills
the whole year.
I think you're going to see Joe Brady get fired here after the year's done, because the offense doesn't look the same as it has in the last 2 years. They seem to be missing something, and I don't know what it is. I wish they would figure it out.
They got to get some wide receivers. They got to get some help for them, right? Like they were able to, through smoke and mirrors, get through last year. I honestly thought what's happening now would have happened last year after Diggs ended up bolting for Houston. I thought for sure, like they don't have any speedsters. They don't have a whole lot of talent that can get separation from the defenders. I thought this would have happened last year, but they were able, it was like, who's up, whoever I got to throw it to. So, good on the Bills for be able, through smoke and mirrors, be able to get to the promised land. But it's pretty much looking like they're not going to have to face Lamar at all. They don't have to face Mahomes.
They might have to face Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence is on fire. On a sad note, it was unfortunate that Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins, his season was ended, and it looked like an innocent tackle.
Yes, yeah.
Like it didn't look like a vicious tackle at all. But he's got a dislocated ankle and a fractured fibula on that tackle from Bills Matt Milano. But just your heart just went when he was pounding the ground. I'm like, I thought it was his knee that was dislocated.
Yeah.
But geez.
Well, one of the other big things I've noticed is the tight ends for Buffalo. They're not like they have been the last couple of years where they catch a ball and they run for 10 yards. This year, they're dropping balls 5 yards past
Knox dropped that one in the end zone. Oh.
So I don't know if Allen's hesitant to go to him more now, because the last couple of years they've been saving Allen's ass, but this year they can't. It's like a slippery turkey.
Now, to his defense, Knox hasn't probably had much sleep over the past few days. They celebrated the birth of their child. Halser, what are your thoughts? Are these guys smoke and mirrors? Is Buffalo capable? Like, they're pretty much, even though they mathematically haven't secured a playoff spot, what are your thoughts about them going forward? Last 2 games of the year and then into the playoffs?
Well, I think we know who they are. I think they are a mediocre team with a superhuman quarterback, a guy who is playing out of his mind, who can play out of his mind, who can go to levels that, frankly, I don't see from any other quarterback. And that's not to deter from what Lawrence is doing or any other quarterback in the league, but nobody can really do what Josh does. And let's face it, you're right. They don't have great running backs. They are the number 1 rushing team in football. And so it really helps Josh with the play action. Now, yesterday, he had 2 or 3 guys that were wide open and missed them, which is pretty rare for Josh. You know, ever since he made the adjustments to his delivery, he's been a pretty darn accurate passer. But he had that 4th down play early in the 4th quarter, had the guy wide open on 4th and 4. It was going to be a 12 or 15-yard gain, and he overthrew him. He had another guy open downfield later on and overthrew him as well. And then the drops. Knox wasn't the only one that dropped the ball. And, you know, you cut him a little slack on cold days, especially with Josh throwing you a laser beam like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, you got to catch the football when he sends it your way. And there's an old saying in baseball, if you get a hand on it, you should be catching it. And I think that that doesn't necessarily ring true 100% of the time in football, but, you know, Knox has got to make that play. And I would imagine next 19 throws to him when he's open and the ball lands in his hands, he'll catch that. That's that 1 out of 20 when he doesn't catch it. I don't think so. But at the end of the day, they are what they've been all year. They're not very, like, they're what? Yesterday was the 1 and 2 worst 2 running defenses in football. And we were joking at our family Christmas saying, this is going to be a 31-28 game with 8 passes. This is going to be a high school 31-28 game where they just run the ball down each other's throat all day long, which is pretty much what they did, because Shedeur does not look good throwing the football. Sanders, you know, he's really athletic, really fast, and all that other fun stuff. But that first pick was an 8-yard pass that he threw right on the guy's back shoulder and bounced it up in the air. He's terrible. And at the end of the day, Buffalo still only beat him by 3 points, right? So Josh does what he needs to do to get the W, and that's all Buffalo is. That's literally all they are, is Josh doing whatever he needs to do to get a W. And some days he does, and some days he doesn't. And if he can put it together for 3 or 4 weeks in the playoffs, it's going to be primarily on the road by the look of it. They're going to have to go to places like Jacksonville. They're going to have to go to Denver. They're going to have to go to New England. They're going to have to win in these arenas on the road. And that might even be better for a guy like Josh, just to walk up there and just go, you know what? I'm going to shut 80,000 people up because I'm going to play out of my freaking mind. We'll see. We'll just see what happens.
Well, if the Colts lose tonight, that puts the whole AFC wild card in the playoffs. So, Razor, your team has to win.
The Bills still have the Jets last week of the season. So even if they lose to Philadelphia this coming week, they still have the Jets at the end. Be nice to be able to rest some guys.
Yeah, exactly. My Niners, thank God, have made the playoffs by Detroit losing there yesterday. But let's go through the AFC first, the playoff picture. The AFC divisional number 1 seed still is Denver. They're automatically in. They're 12-3. They're on a 1-game losing streak, losing to New England yesterday. The Patriots, they're seeded at number 2. They've qualified for the postseason. They're 12-3 as well on a 1-game win. Jacksonville, like you had mentioned before, Shanker, they're 11-4, leading the South. They're on a 6-game heater. Like they've quietly just been dominating without a whole lot of print and press being thrown their way.
Travis Etienne, man, he can run.
Yeah, thank God Etienne didn't have a big day like he did last week, because in one fantasy football, Etienne knocked me out of the corridors. But this week, another guy had him, and he didn't do a whole lot. And I was able to get lucky with Zay Flowers and Derrick Henry, even though they sat him in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I was able to pull a rabbit out of the hat, and now I'm on to the finals in one of my 3 fantasies. So we'll see. I've been a bridesmaid. I've never been a bride. So here's hoping. We got Pittsburgh at 9-6, leading the North. They're on a 3-game win streak. Jaylen Warren yesterday, 2 45-yard tutty runs against the Lions in Detroit. That was unbelievable.
What a terrible finish.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Just ugly.
That was weird.
The NFL, they got to investigate, because I honestly think the NFL is rigged at times like this, because that wasn't pass interference the first time. The last time was pass interference, but
yeah, the one on St. Brown.
Yeah,
they're at the end. We'll talk about that when I get to Detroit with the NFC. In the wild card, number 1 seed, you got the Chargers at 11-4. They're on a 4-game win streak. You got the Bills at number 2. They're 11-4. They're on a 4-game heater as well. And then out of nowhere, you've got the Houston Texans. They're 10-5 on a 7-game heater. They're the hottest team in the AFC right now. Actually, they're the hottest team in the NFL right now with 7 wins in their last 7 games. In the hunt, mathematically, you still got Indy alive at 8-6. They've lost their last 4. Then you've got Baltimore that just can't figure it out. You got Lamar getting hurt last night. They said it did. I don't know. I'm not playing the game, obviously, but it didn't look like a vicious hit to his back. I don't know if he's soft or it just caught him in a really vulnerable spot, but he's day to day with a back contusion. I want to talk about, though, Baltimore had a 24-13 lead, and what do? They sit Derrick Henry. Like, what the hell was Harbaugh thinking? Like, you're sitting, you could have iced the game. And I don't understand. The social media has been blowing up, calling to look into Harbaugh, whether he's getting paid, because why would you sit Derrick and their season is on the line, and you're put it in, your backup running back and not Derrick Henry? Like it makes absolutely no sense pulling Henry in the fourth quarter when it's a must-win game pretty much for Baltimore. Okay, getting into the NFC, you've got the Seahawks as the number 1 seed. They're 12-3 on a 5-game heater. Man, oh man, talk about stones. Them going for 2 points against the Rams. They're on what was it, Thursday or Saturday? I forget. Yeah, on Thursday. But I give them credit, because like a tie didn't do anything for them, so they had to go for the win, because the Rams had the tiebreaker if they ended up tying them. So good on them for going for it. Can't believe the Rams ended up losing that one. But number 2 seed, you've got Chicago at 11-4, leading the North. They're on a 2-game win streak. Philadelphia has wrapped up the NFC East with a 10-5 record. They've won their last 2. And then, Shanker, you called it. Carolina, I did not think they were going to be able to come back and take over the NFC South. But you've got Tampa Bay just can't get out of their own way. Like, they're just killing themselves. So you've got Carolina now in the number 4 seed with an 8-7 record, winning their last game. In the wild card, you've got the Rams. They're already playoff bound, 11-4. They lost their last game. My Niners at 10-4. They're on a 4-game heater. And then Green Bay, what's going on with them? You've got Love that was knocked out in the second quarter there. So they're 9-5-1. Losers.
What a finish in that game. Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
that was almost as good a finish as the Seattle Rams game, man. Are you kidding me? Caleb bombs it down 50 yards for the winner in OT.
To
The
DJ Moore.
bomb.
Like, what a catch. Like, talk
Football's
about
version of the
perfectly.
walk-off bomb, man. It was awesome.
Unbelievable. That was arguably, well, I don't know if I would say the catch of the year, but it's right up there. It's like top 2 or 3 catches of the year, especially where he threw it and the implications of DJ Moore making that catch and Caleb having the stones to throw it at that time. So,
well, how bad's Love's injury?
You tell me. I haven't read.
Haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah, because they're bad. Because they need to win one of their next 2 to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And wow, talk about a team that's just scratching by right now.
Yeah, they're in a tough situation. They were in the driver's seat just a couple of weeks ago, and now they're hanging on. They're on the bus with the Leafs.
Well, they lost. They lost their shiny new D lineman.
Parsons. They lost both tight ends.
Tackle. They lost both their tight ends, and they lost Watson. And now it looks like they might lose Love. And we'll see if he plays on Sunday or not.
And Jacobs has been banged up for a couple of weeks.
Jacobs has been banged up for almost a month. You're right.
Yeah.
He's had a designation pretty much every week at practice time, game time decisions, stuff like that. And he was not an impact, not a factor at all. In that game, I didn't think anyways. The Rams, by the way, 2 things about the Rams. Number 1, I'm hearing they fired their special teams coach after what happened Thursday night.
Oh, wow.
I don't blame them. Yeah.
Now, the other thing about the Rams is, as it stands, you're going off the standings there. First round, you got the Rams at the Panthers in a playoff matchup.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, talk about lopsided first round match.
How many times do we see that in the NFC where the champion is in the South? Usually Tampa is the number 4 seed. Remember the year that was the year they won? They were like 7-9, dude. They won that division at 7-9 just a couple of years ago. Might have been the year they won the Super Bowl. So Brady and whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's I like what the NBA has done. They don't give the home court advantage to a division winner if there's a wild card team they're playing as a better record. And I think the Rams deserve the home game there. Yeah, you get into the playoffs, Carolina, but you don't get a home game for being 9-8.
Exactly.
Playing a team that's probably going to end up against a team that's probably going to end up 13-4.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. So
Rams might be the best team in football, and they're going to be on the road in week 1.
That's the crazy part. Okay, still in the hunt mathematically. You got the Lions. They're just doing everything in their power, though, to make it hard on themselves. They're still alive at 8-7, but they've lost their last 2. Just quickly, have you ever seen such a bizarre ending to a game? For those that didn't see it, Goff threw the ball to St. Brown, but St. Brown pass interfered with one of the guys in the end zone. And so he catches the ball, doesn't get over the line, laterals it to Goff. Goff scores a touchdown, which you think is won them the game.
And the place goes nuts.
Places lose it. Like the roof came off of Ford Field. But then the referees talked about it, would seem like, for 5 minutes. And they declared it a touchdown, but it was negated because of the which it really was an offensive pass interference, and it's unreviewable. And so that was the end of the game. But man, oh man, just there was like 2 or 3 things going on all in that one play, and it was just unfortunate for Dan Campbell and the Lions. that they're in the situation that they're in. But
in
okay.
the end, it should never come down to that, though. You had all game to beat Pittsburgh, who you should have beat handily at home. So
Yep.
They always bank all the interference, but in the end, if you would have done your job correct, we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Play better.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We got Jason Clark waiting in the wings for Buzzin' with Clarko. We'll hear from our sponsor, Nick Hishin from Indy Mortgages, and we'll be right back with Clarko.
Buzzin' with Clarko, a weekly roundup of the Stratford Warriors with Jason Clark, brought to you by Nick Hishin of Indy Mortgage, the independent mortgage company serving customers from coast to coast with access to well over 50 lending options available. Give Nick a call as he works for you, not the banks. FISRA license number 12403.
Clarko's in the house.
Gentlemen, how are you this week?
Good. I think Alder went out here. I'll take him out of the equation here. So
off the island.
He's not worth it. Yeah, we put his fire out. So
no, that's good.
Yeah, how are things with you?
Good. Things are well. Ready for Christmas and a couple of chips and dips and maybe a Miller Lite or a Ryan Ginger this week. And spend some time with the family. It'd be good. Yeah.
Well, we got her all figured out. So we're going down to work and see 40 and the boys there on Sunday to, I don't want to say unfortunately, but the three of us got a buy for the three Lincoln's lovers. So that'll be good. We'll have some beer and wings, sing Kumbaya, and watch a little bit of NFL football.
Yeah, I think Graffer's with us. I think Shanker here jumped on the Lincoln train there that night. So,
well,
yeah,
hang on.
Did.
I just took the Lincolns because they were at home here. Okay, let's not get too carried away.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so you're on our team then. Okay, so 4 of us are splitting the bill.
Next time.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. All right, Clarky, what did you see Friday night? You had the Sugar Kings in town. You had Bender in net. You lose 5-3. What is going on with the Stratford Warriors? What did you see there, brother?
We can't score. That's the weekend. Move on to Chester.
All right.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks.
The Kings are a real good team. I think, the record and with the games in hand, they're the top team in the division right now. And you know what? For large portions of that game, I thought we played right with them, if not better than them. So, I was encouraged about our 5-on-5 play. Power play struggled against them. We were able to kill off. I think they only had one power play chance, and they're very, very dangerous in the power play. I think they're ticking at 30% or over 30% on the power play right now. So that was a good news story. I just think a couple breakdowns that we had ended up in the back of our net, and it's just kind of the way it's been lately. They scored in the first minute of the game. We turned a puck over at our blue line, came in on a 2-on-1. It was kind of a bang-bang play. Bender got a piece of it, but it made its way through his body and trickled into the back of the net. And then, again, I thought we were carrying the play and turn another puck over. Guy comes down, shot, trickles through, Bender kind of laying in the crease, and they just have a guy that beats our back checker to the puck in the crease, and he chips it in. Third goal against was just a really unfortunate break. It was a real good play by them, shooting the puck in the short rink off the end boards, and Bender went out to play it, missed it. We had, I think, 3 guys in the picture that all missed it, kind of a bouncing puck, lands on one of their guys' stick right in the back of the net, and that was right after, I believe we tied it up, make it 2-2.
Yeah, Schmidt just tied it up at 13-19, and then Gravel gets that gift like you just explained.
Yeah, just real frustrating, especially while we're struggling to score goals, right? And then again, I thought with the goaltender out, we got it back to 4-3, and we're going to have a bit of a real good fire drill type hockey here in the last couple minutes of the third, and I don't know who did it for them, but the guy zips a puck 200 feet, hits the empty net. So, it's game over at that point. But, as disappointed as the last 2 weeks have been in the win and loss column, I am still happy with the way that we're playing for the majority of the time. Really good 5-on-5. Like, our group works incredibly hard, and they create a lot of chances. We're just really struggling to score right now. So, we're going to have to figure it out here. There's still lots of time before the games mean a ton. Not that say that every game doesn't mean something anyways, but, we want to put ourselves in the best position as we can when the season comes to an end. But we got to find a way to score. I think in Elmira game, we were close to 4 goals that were expected through our stat package, and we were 1 shy. And then, similar thing happened the next night in Strathroy. I didn't think we played as well against Strathroy as we did against Elmira, but it was a really tight game back and forth, and credit to Strathroy, who took us to overtime the first time we met them. And again, there we were in overtime again down there on Saturday night. So all in all for the weekend, I thought we played okay. I'm not overly concerned, again, like I say, about the play. Results are frustrating. Like last week we lost 2 in a row, right? And the world was ending here in Stratford, and we were able to beat Listowel on the Sunday, and we had a good week of practice, and I think a real good games Friday and Saturday night, although we come out on the other end of each of them, which is frustrating going into the break, losing 4 or 5, but we did have a November where we went 9-0. So, that's pretty tough to do in the Western Conference as well. So, it is what it is. We'll take the break, kind of re-energize ourselves, and we're back on the ice next Monday night at practice, and then we have 2 big games to get us going to start the new year next weekend. So, we'll look at the things we're doing, and it gives us a lot of time here in the next 10 days to comb through a bunch of video, see what's going on in the power play, see what's going on 5-on-5, why aren't we scoring, and address some of that stuff at practice, and we'll make the adjustments. I think we have really skilled players and a really good group of guys that work their tail off. And so that's stuff that when that's lacking on your teams, you're in trouble, right? And, I think that we can carry the play with every team in the league for certain points. We just got to figure out how to do it for the better part of 60 minutes to be able to come on the right side of some of these games against the top teams.
Yeah, and not making excuses for you guys, but you're missing Slattery.
Yeah,
you're missing McGurn. Bender's obviously not playing like he was when he first came to you guys, so that can change. You outshot Elmira 43-29, and you had brought it up there last week where shots don't mean anything if they're all perimeter shots. Where Liam Reed from Elmira was able to see everything. I wouldn't say that they were perimeter shots. But you're right. You guys just got to find a way to cash in. You're out shooting every team. Yeah. You outshot the Lincolns. You outshot Elmira. Mm-hmm. I believe you outshot Strathroy on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
So you just need to get some guys healthy, get a couple of timely saves, and I think you guys can be okay. Maybe, make a move here or there, maybe before the deadline, but you guys aren't far behind. It's not like as if you guys are living by a hope and a prayer. You guys are right with these teams. It's just you got to get healthy and get some timely saves, and I think you guys will be right back in the mix with things. So
yeah, I agree with everything you said there, and if there's a move to be made to make our team better, we'll do it before the 10th for sure. But as for the group as a whole, there's nobody that, that isn't going. Everybody is working hard. Everybody is playing well. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't know if we've been outshot in 27 games. We're continuing to play each and every night. So, that's the encouraging part about the group. Yeah, for sure. That's the encouraging part about the group is that they work hard. And if you ever, were to make it down for a practice, they work extremely hard in practice on Mondays and Wednesdays as well. So, that's not a concern for us whatsoever. It's, strictly right now it's goal scoring, right? We're, I think we're averaging 3 goals a game. But in saying that, we've had a couple big scores where we've pounded in 7 or 8 a couple times. So that tweaks the numbers a little bit. And then we're letting in about 2.5 on average, which is good. That's not an issue. But you know, when we're really at that fine line, we're only scoring as many goals as we're letting in. We're getting into a lot of overtime or games. You know, we're losing games, but we probably should be winning on chances alone. So, you know, we'll just keep at it here. Again, I believe in the group, and I believe in everything that we're doing on the ice. The team looks good. It's just, you know, banging crossbars or shooting pucks wide or, you know what, hitting shin pads. You know, it is what it is, but it's becoming a bit of a broken record here for us. So we do have to figure it out. And I have every confidence that we will figure it out.
If you were out shooting teams, there'd be bigger problems. But
yeah,
absolutely.
It's just puck luck, right, Clarky? Like, these pucks are going to start going in.
Yeah, well, they have to. I do think the players that are getting those shots are just too good not to score. Like Saturday night, Max Wildfong, who's having an outstanding year as a 16-year-old, is already 15 or 16 goals for us. He had 12 registered shots on net and didn't score.
That's crazy.
It's just right. Like it's just one of those things right now. So yeah, if we're going games where our top scorer is not scoring or not getting any shots or not getting opportunities, that's a bigger problem. But
yeah,
you know, right now we're averaging about 40 shots a game, and we're have our expected goals at between 4 and 5, sometimes 6 in a night. So you know, that alone tells me that that we're playing well. We just have to finish.
Yeah, you guys currently sit 5th in the West at 17-6-2-2 with 38 points. You got 5 games in hand on first place Chatham, who has 51 points. Out of any of the teams in the top 5 in the West, I don't think this break could have come at a better time for you guys. You guys just need to, you know, have the kids go home, hit the reset button, get healthy, and then come back in January and get ready for these pesky Lincolns that just seem to be legend killers, taking everybody down. I'm biased, obviously, but I'm like you, Karki. I really think that you guys are going to be okay. You just aren't getting very good puck luck right now. Benders obviously knows that he's capable of more. The one that I think he's
been good though. Like, you know what I mean?
He hasn't
like,
been bad.
He
hasn't been bad.
Yeah, and I don't want that message to get out there. Like,
no.
He you know, he's definitely let in some goals he wants back, but I would say every goaltender feels that way. And you know, like our goaltending, I'll stick up for them all day long. Noah and Gage, our 16-year-old, was really strong again last night or Saturday night in Strathroy. Yeah. You know, both guys are giving us a chance to win. You know, it's about finish for our group right now, and we'd have some better results. So, yeah.
When I was watching Bender when he first came to you guys, you know, I was gushing over him. You know, the glove saves that he was making, and by no means am I knocking Noah Bender. I've been talking positively about him the whole time. But the one thing that I see, like, it's obviously just a confidence thing right now, right? Like and I can speak because some nights you're in there, that puck is like a beach ball. You just know that you're going to save it. And then other times it's like a pea, like where you're fighting it. And I thought on that 4th goal, Clarky, when Elmira came down, glove side, the guy shot it and Bender just put his glove up. Like, earlier when he first came to you guys, he would have snared that. And we watched him down at your end snare a whole bunch of them point blank. And that's the difference is, you know, it's just his confidence level. And that's going to come. And, you know, this game goes in waves, right? And it's just unfortunate that, like I said, you've got injuries, you're hitting iron like no other team. And you just need to get a good save at the right time, and you guys are going to be fine. So there's no alarm bells.
Bad month, Razor.
It is. If
this is the worst first month they have, who cares? It's in the middle.
The good news is
for sure.
nobody remembers December come February when you get on a heater. So
Exactly.
there's plenty of time to right the ship, right? It's not doom
sure.
and gloom. It's just, guys got to go home. Like I said, hit the reset button, go out with your buddies, have a good time, have some Christmas cheer, and come back with a hunger. And honestly, like, if it's going to happen, let it happen in December, right? Run into some adversity in December. The last thing you want is to be a team, like Cambridge, where you run through the regular season with no adversity, and then all of a sudden you run into it in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden you don't know what to do. So,
well, you can ask St. Mary's, right? They walked the league last year. They walked the league last year and took them 7 to get by Waterloo, and then lost in 7 to Chatham. So, and nothing against them. I mean, going to 7 games is that's a coin toss at best, right? When the teams are that good. Yeah. But I do agree with you that adversity is good for the group. It's good to 100. Struggle, even in our own daily lives, right? You don't learn from being successful; you learn from your mistakes. So, absolutely. If we're doing things that we're struggling with right now, it's about learning for us, and I think we're doing it, and we'll be fine. We just send everybody home with a Harry Walker wrist roller this Christmas. Cut down a bunch of sticks. We got a few extra pucks, so we got everybody working on that. And
for those of you under the age of 50, Google Harry Walker. The guy's a local legend. So God rest his soul.
Yes. We have to have some fun with it too, right? I mean, it's junior hockey, and kids are doing their best. And I will say this till I'm red in the face, which I'm red in the face most days, but they're a hardworking group and a really good group. So, we'll keep soldiering on with our group here, and I believe we'll be fine. 8 teams will make the playoffs, and, you only got to beat a couple. You don't have to beat the other 7 teams. So,
well,
we'll see where we are.
Thing. Ask the Florida Panthers if they care who they play, where they play. Last year, they started all 4 of their series on the road.
Yeah,
worked out all right for them. So
exactly.
all you like they say in poker, all you need is a chip and a chair. So well said. Looking forward to Sunday with some beers and wings, Clarkie.
Yeah, it'd be good to get together in person and be able to yap at each other across the table for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And we'll have to make sure that Chester gets us some suicide wings to go with those honey garlics. So
yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that. But,
some honey hot.
We'll see what we can do. But I just want to say to you guys, thanks for getting this podcast going and everything that you've done up until now. We're gonna take a bit of a break here over Christmas, I guess. But thanks for including me, and thank you for including the coverage on the Warriors. It's great that something in the media is paying. Not that nothing does, but it's nice that there's an attention on this hockey team and all the young players that we have in town. And I know they like to listen and hear, and some of our fans that are interested in what we have to say. So I appreciate the time you give us each week to chat hockey here for 10 or 15 minutes, and wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we will see you Sunday.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we love talking about the Warriors. Every time I'm down there Friday nights, guys are telling me how they watched the podcast and loved our segments. So
good.
Appreciate you coming on. We really appreciate your input and insight, brother.
You're very, very welcome. Thanks again.
All right. Merry Christmas to you, Clarkie. And we'll be back with Chris Chesso at Chester's Perch on the Lincoln's Report.
You can't put a price on a good time. Chester's Perch, the Lincoln's Report. Brought to you by the Boathouse Stratford, located at 30 York Street. Come see us down at the Avon River for pedal boats, kayaks, canoes, Juliet boat tours, and bike rentals. Enjoy great food and ice cream at the Riverside Patio Restaurant. Pet friendly and operated by the Herr family since 1965.
Chris Chessel's in the house. Chester, how are you, brother?
Good, gentlemen. How's everybody?
Good.
Good.
We
Good.
don't have a whole lot to talk about. You guys only had the one game, and it wasn't like as if it was a barn burner or anything, but take us through Friday night at the PRC versus Kamoka Kings. You had Von Barr in net. What did you see with the boys at the PRC, Chester?
Well, it was another stormy Friday night in St. Mary's, but we dragged in about 5.25, which was good. You know what? I think we've talked about it on the show a few times. Kamoka's definitely an improved team from last year, but basically from puck drop, we were outclassing them from one end of the ice to the other. It was not really a real competitive game, even though the score kind of shows it wasn't, I think it ended up 5-3. So it maybe looked a little tighter than it was, but if you look at the shots, you kind of get a better impression of who had control of the play and stuff like that. I felt the first period, Vaughn actually played really well. The shots were pretty close in the first, but played well in the first just to keep it at zeros until we were able to get a late one there. Colin McCauley got his fourth already after, I think it's only his fourth game. Yeah. So yeah, he had a beautiful goal. Yep. To get us going with about 2.5 minutes left in the first. And then we came right back out in the second, and Declan Reddy got a nice rebound goal. At that point there, we really felt we were in control. Like I said, we were controlling most of the play anyways. And then Chase McQueen Spence got one about halfway through. And then Kamoka got a couple, and it wasn't like we just fell asleep or anything like that. They just had a couple goals where I think Vaughn would probably want one or two of those back anyways. One was kind of a juicy rebound on kind of a dump in. I just didn't jump out in front of it quick enough, and the Kamoka player beat RD to the rebound. And the other one was just a screenshot. He didn't even move on it. So, other than that, really solid 2 periods. And then in the third, we got one more late. Ryan Hodgson got one late in the period to put us up 4. And then, they got one in the third. Again, kind of a rebound goal, but, no one's fault. It was just a kind of a scattered play. All in all, pretty dominant game, as you can see. That's what they needed. We doubled them up, right? 24. Yeah, we doubled them up. And you know what? At the end of the day, last game of December, a lot of those kids were heading home that night, right after the game, some travel to do. So I think, they just had to stay focused for 60 minutes, get the 2 points, and get out of town and get rested up for the run. We had 2 defensemen out right now that hopefully are back in the new year. And it was good to see Clarkey get back into the game before the break, kind of test himself. I think he actually is playing for Great Britain in the World Juniors over the holidays. They're in the relegation. I think they're in the relegation round or whatever they call it.
Okay.
So he's actually, that's why he played. He wanted to test himself out, see where he was at, and get some playing time before he took the travel over there. So I don't know if it's in Minnesota or not, to be honest with you, but it's the relegation round. So we wish him all the luck.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you guys are off till Saturday, January 3rd versus Chatham. You guys are the hottest team in the West right now. You got 8-1-1 over your last 10. You're third in the West at 21-6-2 for 44 points. Chatham's in first with 51. But Halser, where do you see the Lincolns, the legend killers, at this stage here at the Christmas break?
Well, I think they're probably doing better than a lot of us thought that they would, considering who they lost off the team. I think first half awards handed out first one should go to Bradley, the GM, for the way he has reconstructed this team. A lot of the Chatham studs are back. St. Mary's and Elmira both have done an incredible job of retooling their team and turned them into really solid units. I think that the big difference with this club is defense. The defense has never been bad since the recent surge of good play from the Lincolns. going back to Barkley, who was one of the top 3 or 4 defensemen in the league at one point. When he moved on, it was a real transition for St. Mary's, and especially when Livermore got hurt in the London series last year.
That was huge.
That was really huge, and it exposed a defense where Kalp was really the only guy you trusted 100% of the time. At the end of a game, guys like Montesi and a couple others were pretty good, but at the end of the day, the big thing now is like the additions that they've made this year. This is probably the best 1 to 6 D core that I've seen in the last 4 or 5. And when you add to it a forward group that is maybe not quite what last year's was, but pretty darn good, and the goaltending, which has replaced really good goaltending, I think they're loaded up and ready to go. I mean, they're 1 through 20 solid. They've got even a good taxi squad. Guys that should be playing every night are not playing on this team because they're so deep. And I really like what I see. Obviously you've heard me extol the virtues of the coach and the coaching staff defensively, first and foremost. I was listening to some of the talk about the Warriors there earlier on. And I think a big difference for this St. Mary's team is that they went through that same thing early on where the puck wasn't going in. They were hitting posts and hitting crossbars, but the guys were doing the little things to contribute, even though the puck wasn't going in, and that way they were still getting wins. And I think that's something that Stratford's going to pick up eventually, like what to do to win a hockey game when the puck's not going in for you. And, they're getting that in spades. They're getting lots of practice there. But that's a big difference between Stratford and St. Mary's. St. Mary's just has a little more of a knack of what they need to do tonight to win a hockey game. And that looks really good moving forward to the playoffs.
You said it earlier. Both Powers and Bradley have retooled you guys. Like, there was a lot of talk at the beginning, and you even called them out in the first month of the season, saying that there were some passengers on the bus. And the coach and GM, what do? You guys go out and you get Lacko. You go out and you get Keene. You go out and you get Macaulay. Like, those last 3 pickups for you guys, those aren't filler guys. These guys are stepping in and contributing. Like, that is amazing work done by those guys, because from the highlights, I hadn't seen them live until Stratford there last Thursday night, but just from watching the highlights and that, obviously it was a huge letdown from last year. Like, you guys were absolute rock stars last year all through, but you guys are hot. I would put you guys up against any team right now in the league. You guys just, and you guys are obviously built for the playoffs, but you want to peak at the right time. Like, as much as people are down on Stratford right now, you don't want to get too high on you guys right now, but you got to call it a spade a spade. 8-1-1 in your last 10. You guys are the hottest team in the West. So it is what it is. But Schenker, what did you see of the Lynx when we were over there last Thursday?
Well, I think the big thing, the reason they're so successful right now is they have all 4 lines scoring. They just keep rolling out certain lines. They don't have to bench guys. Guys that weren't performing in September and October are starting to score now. And those type of guys that were called out and sort of moved down the line, they're starting to score because they have to. So I think Bradley is pushing all the right buttons there, and they're a dangerous team. I wouldn't want to, I'm glad it's only December, but this team is good.
I would think that Elmira and Chatham and you guys are no surprises, right? Like, we joke around calling you guys legend killers. You guys get out on the ice. You guys are ultra confident. You're getting timely saves. That's a dangerous mixture. And it's just,
and those rankings are garbage. Like, you can't have Cambridge and St. Catharines 1 and 2.
They're just power rankings, right? So whoever's playing, that's the thing, is that they're always 9-1 in their last 10, unless they're playing each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't count. It should not count. The top 3 teams should be from the Western Conference. If you switch Stratford and St. Mary's with Cambridge and St. Catharines, both Stratford and St. Mary's would have 1 loss or no losses.
Yeah,
if they played in that Eastern Conference.
We know Stratford would have a loss.
One.
true.
They'd have one loss.
The Grinch
One
who stole
loss.
Christmas, Brian Holland.
I love it. So, Chester, are you coming Sunday? We haven't heard back from you. Are
Oh.
you available Sunday?
Well, I guess I better if I'm going to get some sabotaged wings coming my way.
Right?
Well, if you're busy, I can eat your wings for you, Chess. Don't you worry about that. I got you, brother.
Yeah, I do have to check my calendar, but I think I'm good to go. But I'll get back to you.
All right. If you can't make it, we understand. You know, it'll be a little bit lighter on our wallet, but we'd love to have you there, brother. I want to wish you Merry Christmas and all the best to you. And we're excited about Rhetster coming on, your son. For those of you that don't know, Chester's son, Rhett, is coming on our show starting actually a week tonight. And he's going to start his Rhett's Roundup, talking about all the teams in the Western Conference, not named Stratford and St. Mary's. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to that. That's going to be sponsored by Deal Sports Group out of Sebringville, Ryan and Sherry Deal. Can't wait to unleash Rhetster. We're really looking forward to having him on the show. And like I said, I just want to wish you and your family happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. And we really appreciate you doing this with us, Chester, and taking the time out of your busy life on Monday nights to talk Lincoln's hockey with us. So really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. And I know everyone in town appreciates, us having this platform to talk about the Lynx. And, thanks for having us aboard. I know Rhett's looking forward to it, but yeah, I enjoy it. And you guys have a great Christmas. Even Graffer and Clarkey, we'll let them wish them a Merry Christmas, of course, as well. But, and yeah, thanks to our sponsors, everybody, Merry Christmas. And I'll see you guys on Sunday.
Excellent. All right. Chris Chessel from Chester's Perch. We look forward to seeing you Sunday, brother, down at work. We'll let you go, and we'll tee up Dave Graff for Chew on That.
Chew on That with Graffer. Brought to you by Work Pub and Eatery. Get a taste of tradition and charm in our family-run pub. From hearty dishes to cold drinks, we've got everything to make your visit memorable. Located at 75 Wellington Street, Stratford.
We got Mr. Darkness, Dave Graff.
Hey fellas, sorry about the platform here. I'm in the vehicle out and about tonight, so best I can do.
Turn the interior on.
I got them on, like they're on. Can you even see my face?
A little bit. We can see your silhouette.
All right, put it up as close as I can, but yeah. Sorry, boys. That's as light as I can get it in here, for crying out loud. Anyway.
No worries.
Go Christmas shopping.
No, I just got done the last Monday night of pickleball there, so of course we gotta come out and have a few pops to celebrate Christmas with the boys. I lost a couple tonight, so I need to go home and look in the mirror later and figure out what went wrong, but I'll have a few beers first. So,
hey, I got to ask you before we get started. I was talking to a very reliable source, and they said that you and Tals were playing pickleball one time, and on a point that I don't know if you thought you should have had or something. You're playing in a tournament too, and there's a time limit. I've never played, but I was told that there's a time limit if you have an injury or your paddle malfunctions and or breaks. And apparently Graffer threw his paddle in disgust after missing a point that he thought he should have had. And he was standing there, and I guess the clock was ticking, and he had to find a replacement paddle, or else they would have to default.
Okay.
So
listen, that's mostly true, but let me set the record straight.
Okay.
It was we were playing to 11, that we were in the semis, and it was 2 out of 3 to 11, so there was no time limit. However, the last point that gave them game one was, I was a little frustrated. I wear it on my sleeve, as you well know, and about 20 seconds later, when I picked up my racket from the wall, I realized I needed a new one and I didn't have one. So it was not visibly broken, but as soon as I picked it up, the handle was as limp as it can be. So I quietly walked by my partner, Kevin, and said, do you have another racket? And he started laughing. He said, yeah, but it's over there, and pointed as far as I could go in Pinnacle to get another racket.
The exact opposite end of the building.
So the guys are asking Kevin, I guess, while I'm gone, what's going on, and he's just laughing, wouldn't tell them. So I come back and we get 22 of the next 24 points and beat them 2-1. So moral of the story is sometimes getting that frustration out of you can lead to good things too. So
that's right.
We lost, but we did lose in the final. We did lose in the final, but we took care of the second.
There you go. Hey, we just saw you there for a second. Come forward a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect. So, okay, you're good there. Just stay there.
Razor, I love what you got.
He actually looks creepy.
Yeah, I thought it does look creepy.
He looks honestly, he looks like from the Queen video.
That's right.
Galileo.
Yeah,
say it, Galileo.
Galileo.
Let me go.
Hey, I was actually Razor. I'm glad you got that background. I had a picture on my phone here of the great Freddie Couples, the king of smoothness.
Oh yeah, boom.
I thought what a great background, because I want to talk about anything that's butt smooth, and that's how the season's going for us that like them, our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. So, yeah, I really, we've kept it in. We haven't talked much about the Leafs, but I know Razor, you're a Leaf fan. I am.
I am. They break my heart every spring.
Yeah, every spring. And this year, like, I don't even know where to start. And I never really had anything in mind other than to just start talking, because I don't know where to go. If you go on coaching, if you go on the players, I think it's both. And I think it comes right down to it. You can't change 23 guys. And I know they fired Savard earlier today.
Yeah.
But
power play coach.
Yeah, the assistant coach, power play coach. To me, that's putting lipstick on a pig. You're just dressing it up a different way. This solves nothing, in my opinion. Their power play will get better if the players want to make a better effort, get to loose pucks, be harder on the puck, want the puck more. I don't think you can set up different versions of the power play. We all understand that. But firing the coach is not the assistant coach / power play coach, not the answer. It's another way to spin it. And until I hate to say it, because it's nothing personal to Berube, but until they make that change there and I just think the guys, whether publicly they'll state it, because obviously they won't, and whether the effort's still there or not, I just think they've quit on them, whether they want to admit it or not. And I think bringing Peter DeBoer or another fresh face in at this point is the way they got to go. Austin Matthews, $13.5 million. You have 23 points in 30 hockey games. You're 38th, 50th, whatever you are. I don't even want to look it up because I would be disgusted. You can't put that on Craig Berube, but no. He plays such a north-south dump and chase, hard on the forecheck. They're not hard on the forecheck guys. Sheldon Keefe played that more. Keefe played that possession game, and Keefe had a lot of regular season success, not a lot of playoff success. But he played that possession game and let those guys be creative and let them do their thing while they still did an okay job taking care of their own end, and they won a lot of hockey games. They're not winning doing that, what they perceive as a hard type forecheck and a tighter defensive type system. It's not working. And I think Berube not wanting to change has alienated the guys enough, whether they want to say it or not, that they're just not going to the well every game like you have to when you're making anywhere from $2 million to $13 million a year. You're expected to go to the well 82 times. That's just the expectation. And I just think the change of scenery, and I want you guys to chime in here, I just think the change of scenery is the way to go. The Leafs are a bad, in my opinion, fucking hockey team right now. And the skills there, Max Domi, he's a healthy scratch. He's been terrible all year. He's been terrible. I'm glad they're finally hold him accountable. They should. He's been rotten. He probably wouldn't even play well he wouldn't play well in the AHL right now. Get these guys. I don't know if maybe a fresh face will change the narrative here for them or not, but these guys got to start playing. And I think Unfortunately, I think under Berube and his style and his systems just ain't working. And of course, the onus has to be on the 23 players. They got to man up and play harder and want to win more. Tavares has disappeared, in my opinion. Great guy. He's been great for Toronto.
Super
he was
guy.
winning them games earlier in the year. I've only watched games off and on lately because I get too frustrated. I got to turn to another game. But you just don't see much out of him anymore. I think it's time just to change the scenery there, change the narrative a bit.
Do you think they've quit on the coach, Graffer?
Yeah, I think whether they want to say it or not, I think they have. I think they have without saying it, without coming out and saying they're not going to come out and blame him, right? But without saying it, I think they've quit on the coach. Get DeBoer in there, see if we can turn this around. It's not too late to turn it around. They got the skill there. The guys got to want to play. They got to start going to the well every night. Be better, period. Be better.
But Graffer, it's been like that for 2-3 years now. They keep blaming all the players have quit on the coach. How about you get rid of a certain player, trade him, and go from there? Like, I think Berube's a great coach, but you just can't. I know it's not the Leafs. It happens with every team. They get rid of the coach because the players have tuned him out because he's too hard on them or something. But at the end of the day, how about you ship Austin Matthews out of town and then see what happens? Shake it up. You got to blow it up.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing. You got to obviously be very, very careful with that because you got to somehow get a return that would be based on Matthews being that 50 to 60 goal a year guy. That's all. He's
not going to get you much right now.
No, you don't want to get. You're not going to go and trade Matthews and get a return for a 23 points in 30 game type performance, right?
No.
But
I was doing some research, and the first thing that I found, I was reading today that really is alarming. Through 37 games this season, Connor McDavid has 62 points. Austin Matthews is on pace for 59 total points for this season. It's embarrassing. We're at 37 games out of 82. Yeah. Like, we're not even at the halfway mark. I've heard that, it's their power play dead last in the league. Okay. That covered, they had a good power play last year. So that covered a lot of flaws. Stolarz was unconscious last year. He's been hurt. He's been subpar when he was playing at the beginning. He had an 884 save percentage. Hildeby, he's got a 918, so that's not terrible in 12 games. And Woll, he's at a 925. So it's not their goaltending. I've heard other people say it's their goaltending. No, Hildeby and Woll have been playing well. Like, their save percentages aren't terrible. They're decent numbers. Where I lay a lot of the blame, and this goes back a long way. It starts with Brendan Shanahan when he chose Kyle Dubas over Mark Hunter way back in 2018 as the general manager. Because in my opinion, for what it's worth, Mark Hunter and Dale Hunter are two of the best evaluators of talent. Like, look at what they've done with the London Knights. When
year after year,
the Leafs did not want to pick Mitch Marner, and it was Mark Hunter that convinced Shanahan that, are you guys crazy? Like, this guy is going to be a star in this league. And so they reluctantly convinced Dubas, and I believe it was Lamoriello was still there at the time, and they picked Mitch Marner. And then when they chose
Lamoriello was there too.
Yeah. So then they choose Kyle Dubas, who's not as good of an evaluator of talent as Mark Hunter. They chose him. Then Dubas, that was the beginning of choosing the core four. So you've got Matthews, Marner, Nylander, and Tavares soaking up almost half of your salary cap and those four guys. And it handcuffed Dubas to be able to go out and get anyone to surround those guys. They were good. There's no discrepancy what those four guys brought, but eventually you got to the playoffs and they were too soft and they weren't able to play a heavy game at any time. And so in May of 2023, Dubas gets fired. And then May 31st, 2023, Brad Treliving is named GM. Well, here's another guy, in my opinion, who is not a great evaluator of talent because he let Mitch Marner walk for next to nothing for Nick Roy. Like, are you kidding me?
And done
Like,
nothing to replace 100 points.
Nothing.
You haven't you replaced
look
100
at what
points
Jim
with 30.
Rutherford did. When Jim Rutherford knew that Quinn Hughes was not going to re-sign with Vancouver, look at all the assets that he got back in return. Brad Treliving did not do any of that. Here's what Treliving's traded for: Brandon Carlo, Scott Lawton, Matthias Michelli, Dakota Joshua, and Joel Edmondson. Naming one of those guys that is a top 6 forward. What he's also done is traded away their first round in 26, their first round in 27, their third round in 24 last year, their third in 27, their fourth in 25, their fourth in 28, their fifth in 24, and their sixth in 27. That's what Brad Treliving has done. That's how he's managed the Leaf assets. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
And that's what he's got, and that's what he's gotten in return. The names you said, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it starts with Dubas and Treliving, and unfortunately, you've got Berube that's like, I'm good. I want a cup. You guys aren't willing to play, and I think they're playing the wrong system. Like, what he's doing is he's got a Ferrari and he's entered an off-road race, right? Like, he's just got the wrong vehicle for the personnel that he has. But I don't know. They have no choice but to fire Berube, and it's just going to be interesting. I agree with you, though, Schenker. I've said it on a previous podcast. I would not be opposed to them trading Austin Matthews. I'm not saying that has to happen. They just got to get better at evaluating their talent and going out and getting guys. Like, you look at Florida, they were garbage a few years ago, and they went out and they analyzed Sam Reinhart and all of these guys that they were able to evaluate and get them for next to nothing, for very little.
And get the right coach.
Right. And they brought in Paul Maurice, right? Like, for the system, for the personnel that Florida was acquiring. And that's where the disconnect is. It's the coach is going to be the fall guy, but it's Dubas and now Treliving that have put the Leafs in this position. And
you know what? I'm impressed with. I was reading on Saturday morning, the Leafs haven't sold out, I think, 3 or 4 of their last home games. So I'm impressed that the fans are starting to say, you know what? We're not coming now. We've had it.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with that.
Razor, you touched on, and you touched on the GMs and that. And, just before I lose this train of thought with Berube, yes, he's a good coach. I do agree with that. They're playing the wrong system. And I go back to 19. St. Louis was last place in the NHL at Christmas. And Berube took over, and that system worked for what that change of scenery, change of face behind the bench obviously worked as well as it could work, because they went on a run. They found lightning in a bottle, went on a run and won that cup in 19, blew out Boston on Boston ice in game 7. But pretty mediocre from then on. So we got to be careful that we don't crown Berube per se, because yes, he's won a cup and he had a great run for that 4 months, 5 months, whatever, 6 months, January to June, 6 months, I guess. Right. Yes. He had an awesome run, the last great playoff before COVID, but really has not I don't know what his record is since. I didn't look it up, but really has not accomplished a lot since. These guys he's got, right or wrong, because I put it as much on the players as I do him. They don't want to play that system. They're not playing for him. Like Paul said, I think they've quit on him. Shanker touched on it. Do you trade Matthews? I agree. I think everything's on the table. I watched Chichurn, or whatever his name is, that D, and I put it in the one chat there. I watched him walk in and score a goal Thursday night where 3 Leafs looked at him. Didn't even put a stick on him. And like I said, I do that in beer league on a Sunday night. I go by Clarkie, Shanker, and Talsma. I'm wearing 3 slashes, for fuck's sakes, and pulling myself up the ice after I go 5-hole. Hey, after I go 5-hole on Razor, I'm cleaning the welts up on my fucking backside because I've worn 3 slashes. There's 3 fucking Maple Leafs. Don't put a stick on the guy. Like,
Yeah.
so again, I'm sorry I'm getting a little worked up here, but that's on that part of it's on the players. And to Halser's point, they've tuned the coach out. They don't fucking care to play. If you want to play for that coach, you love that coach, you love his systems. We're not watching that on a Thursday night in Washington. That was comically awful.
It was terrible.
Period. You got to change the head coach. This lipstick on a pig with Savard today is bullshit. Who cares? Garbage.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, Treliving knows he's on the hot seat too, because he doesn't usually follow the team on the road. He was in Washington. He was in Nashville. He was in Dallas. Like he knows that the results speak for themselves. You're in the biggest hockey market in North America, and he's not getting the results. So
I agree. Start with a coach, but I agree with everything you guys said. Everything else has to be on the table, but start with that head coach and let's see what we can salvage here. I compare it. You guys don't have to agree with me, but I compare it a bit to Josh Allen with the Bills and Austin Matthews. When the pessimistic part of me comes out, when I'm watching the Leafs lose a game or I'm watching the Bills play like they did the second half yesterday, I think there's no way in hell the Buffalo Bills or Toronto Maple Leafs are going to win anything with two awesome talents, right? With Josh Allen, the garbage he has that wide out, some of the other, the tight end group there, Kincaid's doing nothing. You look at the Leafs and Matthews' effort some nights, not even back checking, just waving at guys like he's playing with us on a Sunday night in beer league. It just, these teams just aren't going to win. And maybe that's to your guys' point. Maybe there's got to be more done, but than just changing the head coach. But something more than firing Marc Savard's got to give here, fellas.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, I agree. It's a messy situation. If they end up trading, one of their stars, Nylander, Matthews, like really the three most tradable guys, if you're going to blow it up and try and get some return for it, would be Nylander, Matthews, or Riley. Like those are the three guys that you should be dangling. The problem is that two of the three are on manageable contracts. It's only Matthews that is getting 13 plus, but I've said it all along. A guy like Matthews, a guy like Nylander, they're more concerned with how much they're getting paid than winning cups. You don't hear that same narrative down in Florida. Like
right.
when you've got those guys down there all agreeing to take less than $10 million, nobody makes more than Barkov. Everyone agrees on the team, that, okay, we're more concerned with winning cups than being the highest paid guy at our position. And that's one of the reasons why Marner's ended up walking, because he wanted to be one of the highest right wingers in the league. And that's his choice. He's earned that, right?
Yep. How many years did Boston do that, right? Boston did that for like 5-6 years. And when
how much money?
$3-4 million.
How much money did Bergeron? How much money did Bergeron leave on the table over the years? Right.
Bergeron
and Marchand,
Pasca and Marchand and like all of those guys were willing to take less dollars. Chara,
back in the day. Yep. Good point. Also,
he was the one who started it, right? Convincing them back in 2011. Look at like we've got a great thing here. Like him and Bergeron convinced the rest of the team. We is greater than me. And Toronto hasn't figured that out.
And they're just not those type of guys, right? Yeah.
I know. That's my sense is that I feel like ownership and management are having a similar conversation to what we're having right now. And they looked at a guy like Berube and say, listen, if anybody could put some hair on the balls of some of these players, maybe it's a guy like Berube. But I think after a couple seasons, it's pretty apparent that these guys are shaving daily. And you're just not going to.
You're all right. Yeah.
So it's time to move them. The problem is that number one, you don't move Tavares because you just got him on a contract that actually suits where his game is.
Yeah, and it's team friendly.
Matthews, you're not going to get. You're selling low on Matthews. I won't say you won't get anything for Matthews, but you're selling low on him. The only one who's going to get you the haul that you need to restart is Nylander. And if you sell Nylander, you are telling your fan base something very, very definitive. So you may as well hang on to the coach and start tooling the players to the coach, because the coach has been trying to tool the players to the game plan.
Yeah.
So
and it's not
that's
working.
not happening. So it's just not working. So you, like I said before on this show, I mean, you have to go all the way in and pick somebody up like a Tkachuk style player who's going to give you the goals and the sandpaper to go on a playoff run, or you're going to blow it up. But like I said, you're not going to get bugger all back for Matthews, I don't think. Anyways,
No,
not
right now.
He should be.
Not when he's not lighting it up.
No.
He is a fraction of himself.
And Riley looks miserable out there. What is he, about a -10 now? I mean,
if there's a worse defensive defenseman in the NHL this year, I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, may as well give the guy an orange jersey some nights.
Awful. Awful.
Who are we? We're the Pylons.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, boys.
So.
All right, Graffer. Merry
Appreciate
Christmas to you and your family. We look forward to seeing you Sunday down at work with 40 and the boys, having wings and beers with everyone. And just really appreciate you coming on and doing the podcast with us. And your Chew on That segment has really resonated with the fans. I hear all the time about people talking about your segment, Chester, Clarko's, like, just really appreciate you three guys coming in and doing your bit on Monday night. So really appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate you guys too. I appreciate coming on and being able to talk, and really love listening to what you guys have to say. It really makes it for a good conversation. So thanks, fellas.
Awesome.
See you, Graffer.
All right.
We'll see you Sunday.
If I'm not mistaken,
Merry Christmas.
It looks like, isn't that Graffer driving that bus behind Razor?
It looks like it.
Right. Good point. Hey, I gotta go. See you, fellas. Be good.
See ya.
See you guys.
See ya, man.
All right. Dave Graff from Chew on That. We'll be back with some words from our sponsors and final words.
Railside Organics, Stratford's first and only Indigenous-owned and operated organic dispensary, located at 29 Monteith Avenue, serving those in need with holistic remedies. Come say hi to Curly and his staff and see why everyone is recommending Railside Organics. Call Bick Heating and Cooling for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. Proud Rude Pro partner. BickHeatCool.com or 226-921-4848. Your home team specialists, taking care of Stratford and area since 2013. Vreda Veld Painting, servicing Stratford and surrounding area, with over 20 years of experience to help you with all your painting and decorating needs, on time and on budget.
Another great show. Last words. We'll start with you, Shanker.
Yes, I'll go first because Halser has great news or a great send-off. But Merry Christmas to the Chicago White Sox. They signed that Japanese slugger Murakami to a two-year, $34 million deal. And it gives the White Sox something maybe to cheer for the next few years. And the Red Sox made a big splash trading for Contreras from the Cardinals. So, thanks, Razor, for starting up this podcast. Thank you for inviting me. I've enjoyed it and wish you guys a Merry Christmas and can't wait for lunch on Sunday.
Absolutely. Halser, final words.
Well, I want to talk about a man, and I don't think it's getting enough press. I want to talk about Greg Marshall. And Greg Marshall was the head coach of football at University of Western Ontario Mustangs. And obviously I have a connection with him, with my son having played for him for 5 years. And he's stepping down, retiring after, I believe it's 18 years at the helm of this incredible program. And like I said, I don't think there's enough splash involved. This guy is an icon. This guy is a Canadian if this guy was coaching hockey in this country instead of football, he'd be a legend. He'd be in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Yeah. He has 7 Coach of the Year awards for the OUA, 3 more U Sports for National Coach of the Year, 4 Vanier Cups, 2 as an assistant, 2 as a head coach. And when he played, he was a Heck Crichton winner. He was a Grey Cup winner. He's won everywhere he's gone, but specifically at University of Western. Let me just give you a little idea here. They went on a stretch between 2015 and 2019 where their regular season record was 39-1. This guy's career record in the regular season, he hasn't keep in mind, these are 8-game seasons. Okay. He hasn't just won 100 games in the OUA. He's won 100 more games than he's lost. He's 124-18 lifetime in the OUA. Nobody is happier than everybody in the OUA that Greg Marshall's not coaching them anymore. And I have to give him a shout out for the 2017 team. Like I said, he won 4, but we biased folks like to call the 2017 team the best university football team of all time. Not only did they go 12-0 and win the national championship, but here's some numbers for you. They had 19 OUA All-Stars out of 22 starters.
Wow.
They got into the playoffs and they played a 4-game run of the playoffs, 2 games in the OUA, 1 national semifinal, and the Vanier Cup. In those 4 playoff games, they scored 261 points and gave up 58. So in other words, they scored roughly 65 points a game. Their average margin of victory in the playoffs was 51 points. They didn't score 51. That was their average margin of victory. And I consider that the best football team of all time, both with the eye test and statistically. But more importantly was the man. I sent him my kid as a boy, and he sent him back to me a man. You could trust him. He would nurture your kid as well as slap him upside his head. He was a great teacher. He showed us the very definition of the word preparation. I'm a better coach. I don't even coach football. I coach a different sport, but I'm a better coach just watching how he operates. And I just want to say congratulations to Coach Greg Marshall for an incredible career, and thank him again for all that he's done in helping with the growth of my son.
Well said.
And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Sorry,
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yes.
Just really appreciate everyone that tunes in every week, that texts us, talking about parts of the podcast that they liked and what they look forward to. It's very humbling. And so thank you to all of you. Without all of you, we wouldn't have the podcast. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hope everybody tunes in for next week and in the new year. For Ian Schenk and Brian Hawley, I'm Gary Ray, and that's the Max Smith Band. And we are the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. Peace.
Peace.